For your Raspberry Pi Zero, you're going to need a micro SD card. And you're also going to need a micro SD adapter. Now make sure your adapter is set in the unlock position. There is a little notch that you just slide from lock to unlock, and that will allow you to download and save the new programs to your micro SD card. So going to this first website, we're going to download, this is your flasher program. This is the program that puts what we want on the micro SD card to work for Raspberry Pi Zero. So it's a long download. I recommend downloading both things you'll need. The second one, make sure you get the Raspberry Pi Zero-1. And these are the two files you're going to put on your micro SD card. And so after a few minutes and they're done downloading, the flasher program, you want to install that in your computer. And it's basically like your standard program install for a computer. It'll pop up the terms and agreements. Yeah, I agree. It'll upload. Your Windows will probably pop up and say, do you want to install this program? Click yes. And it'll put a shortcut right on your desktop. So once that's installed, we're going to go to the other download. And this one's an image. So find it in your downloads. You want to right click and go to properties. We're going to change the name a little bit. So what we're going to do is take off these last couple letters. So we want it to end with IMG. And then click save. Yes, we can change the name, all that. So that's a really vital part that we want to do. Now here's our shortcut to our new program we just installed. Go ahead and open the program. Now you don't want to use the image URL, so just click on flash from file. And the file we want to flash from is our one that we just changed the name of, that we just downloaded it and we took off the last couple letters there. So select that. And then we want to select our micro SD card that's in our computer that we, plugged in with our adapter, and then go ahead and flash it. Now this will take quite a few minutes. I did speed it up here for you so you're not watching the screen for 15 minutes, but it'll go through a purple bar and then a green bar, and that's it all it's flashing on the micro SD card. Once that's done, you're good to go. Your micro SD card is ready to go in your Raspberry Pi. So if you open up your Raspberry Pi Zero and take out your motherboard, you'll see there's a slot here that's for your micro SD card. So go ahead and take the SD card out of your adapter, and we're going to put it right into the Raspberry Pi Zero motherboard. So it just slides in there. You want to make sure that you have the connector points down, and just slides right in there, and you're good to go. So once it's in, go ahead and put your Raspberry Pi Zero back together. Make sure you snap it into place. And then we're going to hook up all our cords and everything and get it ready to plug into our TV or monitor, whichever you're using. So we got the lid on. This is mostly just to protect it, to kind of keep dust and dirt and things out of there. You don't really have to worry about the electrical currents or anything on Raspberry Pi. They're protected and safe. So we got our little HDMI adapter, goes on the end. And then our power cord, you want to make sure they are marked there on the Raspberry Zero, but it's the one on the very end. That's our power cord. And then that middle one is for our USB connectors. So for this, when you first set up, you are going to need a USB keyboard. I believe you could probably use a joystick, like a game stick or something, but a keyboard is best. So we've got our little adapter. This came with the Raspberry Pi, the USB adapter. So all you need is just a standard USB keyboard here. It's got the USB plug, and that's going to plug right into the Raspberry Pi there. And then you're going to need an HDMI cable. That'll plug into your adapter on the end of the Raspberry Pi. Now, at the computer, once you have it set up, this has a power switch, an on and off switch on the Raspberry Pi power cord. If you turn it on and nothing happens, which is what happened to us, we had to problem shoot a little bit. For starters, if there's a green light, that's a good sign. We didn't have a green light at first, and we ended up having to switch out our micro SD card. We had a micro SD card that wasn't good. We also found taking ours out of the case, it tended to do a little bit better. So, and again, you don't have to worry about electrical currents or anything. It's safe there. So once you have it on, it's plugged in, it's going to start booting up for the first time. So it's pretty simple. It's going to walk you through it. It'll register, oh, you've got a keyboard plugged in. So then the first thing it's going to have you do is assign the keys different things. So you're going to go through this list. You don't even have to do all of them. Just do kind of the main ones that you're going to be needing, and then click OK. And you've assigned a different key for each thing that you want the Raspberry Pi to do. Now you're going to set up the Wi-Fi. So go down and click Wi-Fi, and you'll see these black and white lists. Every once in a while, that's like it just loading and processing stuff. So this is telling us it wants us to set the region of where we're at, basically pick our country. So go ahead and click sure, yes, we'll set up the region. And then it's going to bring up a list here. And so you've got all these different options here. So there's our configure network options, and we're going to do Wi-Fi. So we're going to go pick in that we live in the US. There's all these countries here, so quite a few. So yes, we're in the US, and then click OK. Wi-Fi country. Now the SSID, that is your Wi-Fi name. So for this one, Munchkins, that's our Wi-Fi name. And then you're going to want to put in a password, and if not one, then just leave it empty. So now you've got it, it's on there, it's connected to Munchkins. So go ahead and scroll down, and then we're going to click on finish to go to the next part. Now this one had us, even though it shows connected, it's having us connect again. We were kind of stumped by that, but we're like, sure, why not? So now it saw Munchkins on there. It basically shows the Wi-Fi was working. So that's good because it's showing the Wi-Fi of the Raspberry Pi was getting set up. So now once we connecting, it's down here, it's thinking that there's our little code that popped up showing that it's doing something, and now it says it's connected. So we got it. So it's all connected. It'll take you back to your menu screen, and this is where we are going to stop for this week. That's a lot to take in. It's a lot of steps, I know, but next week we'll start putting some games on our Raspberry Pi, and we'll show you those step-by-steps. So get to this point and you're good to go. And remember, you have the power switch on your Raspberry Pi power cord.